Don't you want Nick to be happy?
I know you're not what Nick needs.
She's like trying to play a game of chicken with me, thinking I'm gonna swerve like a chicken.
But you can't swerve. You gonna roll up and be like,
Bok, bok.
okay, maybe like not as aggressive.
So Crazy Rich Asians happens to be the movie in the mind of my next guest when he thinks about a world raging with tariff wars. With us now for more is Federico Poch Macaranas, Education Committee Chairman of the Management Association of the Philippines. So good to see you, Poch. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Kathy.
All right, so you're saying that this movie simplifies the trilemma that we are seeing in the tariff wars.
Yeah. The trilemma, of course, is what is in our mind because three parties are not talking to each other, but instead are talking to only one of the two other parties. So, for example, the U.S. slapped Canada by being the 51st state, and Canada in turn went to the EU, and the EU was asked by Canada to gradually release its U.S. treasuries, which is going to be detrimental to the U.S. if majority of the world's holders of treasuries do act together. So if the two are talking and one is absent, that trilemma is serious for the entire system. And this is what exactly we mean by saying, let's have a world order where all three of them talk to each other.
Right, you got the mother and the son and the future daughter-in-law, like a trilemma, like you say. It sounds like a game theory approach that you're applying in this era of tariffs in that three-cornered fight. And that happily ends when two are in and one is out. How then do the math survive at a rational way of cooperation in the end?
Well, each one has to understand the psychological background of each person. A mother is losing a child to an immigrant. That's a China and a Philippine and an American scenario, respectively. If indeed the mother is afraid of losing the love of the son, maybe she should talk to the future daughter-in-law. And that is hard to do unless the mother is prepared to do that. In the case of the US, who will it listen to so that it will be able to understand that the holder of the US treasuries are powerful enough to shake the dollar? And that will go to a global destabilization, and the stagflation scenario will be even more likely.
Beyond the family feud, I'm looking at the maths. For every two collaborators, you do end up with one competitor. So does that look like an equation towards free and fair trade?
Yes, the World Trade Organization is the perfect body to look at what is fair trade, because the rules and standards have been defined globally. The rules on tariff wars are very, very clear. The unilateral decision was not even consulted upon with the major trading partners. And this is a no-no when we are all tightly knit together, because the impact on one trading partner will impact the rest of the trading partners. So here you have a classic case of Canada even talking only to Japan and the EU, but not China. So there's a fourth party. Where will the fourth party gravitate towards? The US or the combined Canada, Japan, EU?
I'm hearing alliances build here and a changing of the guards, but again, I go back to the game theory because it encourages critical thinking, a skill that you say leaders need in surviving the tariff wars. So what then is the appropriate leadership archetype in this situation?
Number one, the US president should not say that tariffs are everything, because tariffs are just a part of the balance of payments, which is how the dollar is used globally. It is not just for goods, it's also for financing the US debt, the US military, the US bureaucracy, the US companies that need all the world to be able to lead in a truly global manner. So realizing that they don't have that leadership, they should not isolate different countries and deal with them bilaterally. That strategy is not going to work as a leader. As a leader, you must talk to everyone all at the same time so that the cards are thrown to all without editing. And that is what the mother in Crazy Rich Asians had to do. listen to the sides of the future daughter-in-law and the son who they're about to.
Yeah, you know, I like very much the scene when they played mahjong. So is this the way towards a happy ending?
Yes, playing mahjong will not only involve the two players, but you can see in the back that there are people helping the players. And this is exactly what the allies of Japan, US would want to think. Who are the allies behind the major players? Because they advise, and these advisors might be selfishly motivated rather than globally focused. And this is the problem with some of the advisors in the major countries. They only look at their selfish needs. That's not leadership. That is isolating the rest of your followers in a global world.
Oh, we hear ya, and it's a great way to learn it the other way around and in a fun way through cinema. Spoiler alert, though, the movie does leave us in good spirits. Thank you so
Yes.
much, Poch. Really appreciate your
Okay.
views. Poch Macaranas of MAP.